vibing in the crib, dog. It's cold as hell, bro. And
Yeah.
I just went, you know, seeing moms or whatever, and we was, you know, chilling and kicking it, me and Alex. And then on my way home, I'm like, shit, I gotta start the car up. We gotta warm up. It's too cold, bro.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Tag the one in. That's Miss Diva down there. Miss Diva 226.
Got you. Hold on. Invite. Let's go. Sent it through. Let's roll. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what's up, though. She doing all right?
Oh yeah, she cooling, man. You know.
Hey everybody.
What's
Oh,
going on,
Fellas.
Diva? How you doing?
yeah.
What's up? Let me try to get in a position where it's light. Okay.
All right, go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Do your
All
thing.
right.
Okay, let me figure this out. Cause see, I was like, let me get in the atmosphere of the car thing as well. So let
Yeah,
me
you
figure
know,
this out.
today for me it was just too cold for the shit.
Yeah, it is cold, but I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, hold on. Maybe I'll just turn the light on.
There we
Yeah,
go.
normally just turn my
Good
car.
evening, fellas.
Good evening. How
Doing,
are you?
doing.
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. I'm
That's
glad I
good.
could make it on this time.
I'm glad
Yes.
you could too, man. We've been trying to get you on for a minute.
I
That's
know,
what's up,
right?
though. But everybody that's watching, you know, welcome to Riding and Vibing. I'm B Ty from LFM TV.
It's your boy L to the Izzo, Low Talk Podcast. What it do?
And this is our guest, a friend of the show, Dewana Coleman. She has her own podcast called My Sister Circle. She's also a life coach, and I'm pretty sure she got plenty of other things going on she could tell us about. And she's also a friend, like a legit solid friend from high school, man. One of the few that ain't never turned on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Always been solid. So welcome
That's
to the
what's up.
show. Welcome to Riding and Vibing. We thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on board with us.
It was definitely an honor for B to even ask, and like B said, we are definitely. I mean, we so cool. Like B is my friend, and
Yeah.
it's always been we grew. Life happened, and lost touch for a minute. But thank God for Facebook, social media, because B has always been my friend, and it's always been solid between us. I mean, so. I appreciate real friendship, and
Yes.
for years, in my younger days, I really wasn't sure if men and women could be friends, but it took some growth. It really did take some growth, and just over the years of seeing that, every man is not out to hit on another woman. It can really
Right.
be a platonic relationship. So.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And that's another thing I want to add too. Dewana, you already know this. I told you this plenty of times, and I always thank you. But you are one of the few women that motivated me to get back into the media space. So I appreciate that. I love this shit, like
That's
for
what's
real.
up. That's
So
what's up.
yeah. But before we get into the first topic, I got a question for both of y'all.
Okay.
How do y'all feel about associating with people that don't rock with you?
You mean somebody that's real close to me associating with somebody who I don't associate with?
Not real close, but let's just say y'all do business. Y'all break bread.
I'll let you tell.
For
Go ahead, D.
me, if it's a business, so the friend, okay, so you're asking the friend doesn't rock with my business partner or something like that? Something like
Like
that?
let's say your friend is associated with somebody that don't rock with you.
I mean, it's happened. It's happened. So I'm like this. We are all adults.
Okay.
Depending on the nature of the reason that we not rocking, that probably plays a big part in it. But if it's something that we just aren't compatible, we just can't get along, I'm not, I think that would be ridiculous, and kind of, shows my level of maturity to even say that, we have some type of issues where you can't, because we're all adults. As long as you do not allow, there has to be boundaries. So my name can never come up.
Yeah, I
My
agree.
name, my name should not come up. It don't even need to come up in a positive aspect. It just don't need to come up.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And if it do come up, I'm expecting my homie to handle that situation,
Absolutely.
Yes,
and
definitely.
expecting him to tell me like, hey, you know, I rock with so and so, and the person was talking crazy, but I handled it. You good? I put him in his,
Absolutely.
put
Yeah.
her. Like, yeah, you got to do that.
And then honestly, that's a deal breaker if you didn't handle it. Like if you
all
came
right,
to me and said, you know, well, so and so was saying this about you, and then the conversation just paused.
yeah, because it's gonna get
Yeah,
like,
we got an issue.
Yeah,
We got an
definitely.
issue.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, I agree.
I agree. I
I agree.
agree. I feel like on a certain level, like it depends on what the person not rocking with me about. Like you said, if it's over something minute, forget about it. Like y'all, you know, whatever, do what you got to do. You know, we gonna continue to get this money. But I agree with what you said, because I agree with both of y'all said, for real. So that was real.
Top it off.
Um,
If we parted ways, or if we just like a serious beef, I'm talking about a serious beef. If you my homie, I don't even expect to hang with that person.
Yeah, and
yes,
a lot of times that's what happens though, you know, because if you my ace, a lot of times now I'm not gonna stop nobody business.
right, right.
I'm not gonna stop nobody business. But far as you rocking with the person still, that's dead.
Totally different level, especially if we beefing. Like it's just a difference between having actual beef and you just not just liking or
Right.
Right.
like, you know, whatever. But if it's a serious beef, as you Ace Boon Coon, I'm not expecting for you to rock with that guy or that person at all. And if you do, then I gotta question our friendship.
I agree.
Yep, I agree. Well, shit, let's get into this first topic, man.
Okay.
How do y'all feel about, or how do y'all? Let me rephrase it. How do y'all handle people that you're close to not taking accountability for what they may have done wrong in y'all in any situation, whether it's mishandling money, uh, being late for something, or even if it's with your significant other, y'all didn't see eye to eye. How do y'all deal with that when that type of stuff happens?
All
I go,
right. Go.
I go. So for me, I would say I use a friendship type of deal. Like if it's something that you know you did to me and you not, or we did to each other, we both were wrong. And if I'm the type of person, I'm accountable for each side I'm wrong. That's just period because I like my name. I want people to look at me a certain way. So if I got you as my friend and I'm wrong, but I'm holding myself accountable for, well, you know, I did what I did, you did what you did, but it's like, wait a minute, you still were wrong at this. So it's like you gotta hold yourself accountable. What I
Right.
what I would do mostly, we'll have that discussion. However, that conversation about it's gonna be some distance. You know, I'm speaking friendship level. It's gonna be some time where I'm not even closely like, you know, say hey, what's up on Facebook or send a text here and there. But I'm gonna fall back and really analyze the situation first before we can actually get back and be real cool in here. Because I mean, it's like, how many times have you wronged me and you not being accountable for it?
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so once you damn near ain't gonna be accountable for nothing.
Yeah.
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 The other, we just gonna have to work this shit out. All right, we're gonna have to sit down, talk. All right, if you need to take a breather, need a day, and I need a day, all right, cool. But live this situation and we gonna figure out what the fuck. You will take accountable for your actions, period. That's just what it is. You have to. That's
Right.
more if you're wrong, you just wrong. Gotta hold.
I agree with that. Go ahead, D.
So I'm big on accountability.
Mm.
I'm huge on accountability, and like Lauren said, you know, if you can't be accountable for something, and it's always, I do believe in it being a communication. So if you've done anything to where you've wronged me or in any kind of way, friendship, my spouse, anything, my parents, my siblings, whatever type of relationship, I expect it to be a conversation. Now, I do understand that people aren't always communicators, but I am a communicator. So I'll bring it up and let you know what I feel. Now, if you disregard what I feel and you decide that you aren't going to take any accountability, then I agree with Lawrence. I do have to distance myself for a minute. And I'm talking about, I do it with even my spouse. I got to distance myself from even a situation for a minute, not so much so that I'm not speaking to my husband or anything like that. But, I have to tell you how I feel. I have to let you know, and I have to step back if you just decide that you're not going to take accountability, because accountability and respect to me lines up.
Yeah.
And it go hand in hand. And so if you decide that you aren't going to take accountability for your actions, then I got to fall back a little bit. Now, I understand that everybody is just not ready to be accountable for their actions. Okay. So I'm not a person that will hold long grudges. Relationship, like a friendship, depending on the nature of our friendship, depending on how long we've been solid and everything, I may just give it some time and then step back into it. Now, if you repeat the same behavior, then I just gotta, like I said, it's some things are just dead. You just gotta fall back. But far as like my spouse thing, I can't force you to be accountable. Okay. I can only tell you how I feel, and then I have to decide what my boundaries are from there. Because everything is about boundaries. So I have to decide what I'm going to accept from now on. Now I can say, well, all right, you didn't accept accountability for that situation. Here's how we handle it from here. The next time A, B, and C, this lines up this way, then this is what I'm going to do. But the problem is that consistency. We're not consistent with making people be accountable for things that they do to you.
Yep, most definitely.
It'd be the level of what, right? You'd be what I ain't even about to trip on that. But if it's something big to you, you're gonna be like, oh, hell yeah, we about to
exactly.
Right.
It's like it's like a pick the battle type of deal.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Pick your battles. And some stuff is really not worth a complete fallout about, but it is worth allowing you to fix it and telling you that this level of disrespect, I won't accept.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And I think another problem is a lot of people, if somebody do something wrong, a lot of people don't know how to bring stuff to the forefront. Because I've seen situations and been in situations where somebody did something, realized that they was wrong, but they got defensive when I said something about it. So it's like, no, look, I need you to understand how this went. Like, you made me look crazy during this time. And they like, oh, well, how? Look at what you just did. You would have never got the response you got out of me if you didn't do what you did. So I'm explaining to you why I responded the way that I did. So sometimes you got to put people in fucking school, basically. You got to put them back in school and sit them down and let them know, hey, listen, this is what you got to talk to them condescending, but you know what I'm saying? You got to really let them know, hey, look, step by step, this is what you did. This is why I'm like this right now. Either you getting cussed out or I'm falling back, which means I'm getting quiet. You ain't gonna really like me quiet. Okay, so hear me out. Get out of your feelings, get your attitude together, and let's sit down and talk like adults. Then we can work out this problem. And that's it. So I agree. I definitely agree with what y'all said. Like, a lot of people just need to understand where they be going wrong. Like, one thing about me, don't apologize to me if you don't even know what the fuck you did. That's my thing. Don't apologize to me until you understand why I'm upset. You know what I mean?
So those, man, a lot of people egos and they feel like apologizing is weak, and if you know, hold yourself accountable is kind of like some people just don't like to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always be. They can do no wrong, see no wrong, nothing.
And them the people you got to stay away from, because they'll make you put the hands on them.
You're
Straight
right.
up. Straight up.
I agree with the comment that was just made, saying that, you know, we take a lot from associates and friends, but I mean, we don't take a lot. We quick to cut off associates and friends, but you know, we take a lot from our partners. I agree with that.
Yeah.
To a certain level, because I do understand what she's saying. She's saying, like, you know, you will accept people. Some people will accept so much from their partner, but will be quick to not forgive a friend for doing something wrong to them. So I do agree, to a certain level, because marriage is a total different thing than a friendship. The level that we have to move, the type of movement that you got to have in a marriage is totally different. But I don't disagree. I just know that it's some stuff in a marriage that probably nobody will understand inside your marriage or inside your relationship. They won't, you know.
Right.
So it's certain ways you got to move in that relationship that's totally different from a friendship. But I do agree with her, because I don't think that you should just be so quick to cut off or not forgive a friend or an associate for something crazy, you know, but you real quick to accept the cheating nigga, you know.
Yeah. I agree. So let me ask y'all something. We about to get into the next one. How do y'all feel about body count? And what I mean by that is, will somebody's body count affect how you feel about that person or your interest in that person?
As a man, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Men are gonna say yes to that.
Yes.
And I honestly, I think for women, yes, as well, but we are more, because we keep our stuff. We're gonna keep our stuff. We're not gonna tell as much as y'all gonna tell when it comes to that. And I agree with this comment. Don't tell me.
She talking about some don't tell them. No.
That wasn't a conversation that was needed in my relationship. Like, did we discuss some things? Yes. But between the both of us, that wasn't something that we needed to start a relationship. That didn't come up first. If I wanted to, like, I just don't, my mind doesn't wrap around why that's something that needs to be asked, like, in the dating process. But that it didn't then. But I totally get it now, on a more spiritual side with soul ties and things like that. I totally understand it now. Then it wasn't a thing. Like, no, we don't even have to have a conversation, because I'm telling you right now, if you ask me, I'm gonna lie. That's how I was back then. Like, don't ask me, because it ain't the number.
You ain't getting the truth.
I'm not telling you that number. But I totally I do understand now that body count is something that we should be mindful of, because of soul ties and things like that. It's too many things that attaches to people that you just can't mess around with. You just really can't mess around with.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about on a physical aspect.
No,
like,
it's energy.
Listen, you can't just allow anything, you know, into your soul. You really cannot. So they having, you know, a body count of 50. I got, that's 50 different things going on.
50 different energies just all in you. All
mixing
different traumas. All
entering into me. And then I don't know what's, you know, and then you become a different person. So yeah, it matters to me now. But like I said, back then, when 12 years ago, me and my husband, let's not even talk about it. And he was
we ain't discussing those things.
Yeah.
Reason why I say it matters, and I'm gonna use me as an example. And it wasn't even, I'm talking about a date that I went on just years ago.
And I don't know why this night go downtown or whatever, but I don't know what was going on in the atmosphere in this night where every chick that I knew I was running into. And so the individual who I was on a date with was just like, well, goddamn. So in her perspective it was like, well, it's like you just know too many women. And she didn't even know that these were just friends. A couple of them were relatives. Like it was like people from the hood. But in her mind, I was a hoe. In her, it didn't matter who these people was. Didn't matter. In her mind, it was like, nope, he lying. He done slept with her. It was just too much. Like, this is her saying, like, it was just too much. It was like every chick, every place we went to, you just knew a girl there. And I'm like,
that's how it be, though.
That's how it be sometimes. But it wasn't me. Like I say, some of them were relatives. Some was just people I just knew from the block.
It
didn't matter at all.
That's why I don't believe in the whole. I see men and women out together, and they'll see another woman, and I see them I see the girl or the guy give that other person a hug, and I'm like, what the heck? What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want those type of problems. I don't want.
It was a lot of, and you know what? I was young and dumb.
Of that.
Mm-hmm. I was young and dumb.
Hey, what up? You know, and I'm the what up, though? Hey, what's going on? And I immediately be like, oh, that's such and such. Because I need to shut any thoughts that you about to have down.
Yeah. And I tried to do that, but it wasn't working. She was like,
too many, Lawrence. It was too many.
No second date, no call. It was nice knowing you. Peace. Like, I haven't seen that person since then, bro. It was a wrap.
Cuz, quick question. When you kept running into these chicks, like, did you communicate with the girl like, oh, that was my homegirl I went to high school with? Oh, that was
like it was
off the bat?
Yeah, like I would be like, and I would introduce like, yeah, this is my cousin so and so, or this is, and I would be polite, and
so
I'm
what, introducing. She thought you was a hillbilly?
Huh?
She thought you was a hillbilly, fucking with your cousins. Damn.
No, I guess, bro. It was just, but see, the thing is, it was before I seen family. It was just a whole bunch of other chicks.
Oh,
and then when I ran into movies at the casino, that's when I seen, you know, a couple other people, you know, related to. So I'm like, oh. All right. And she was like, what up, cuzzo? Whoop-de-whoop. So I'm thinking, all right, this is smooth. But it was just like, I understood her position. Yeah, I understood it because it's like, if the shoe was on the other foot, if I'm looking at her just talk to any and every dude at every place we go to, as a man, we already thinking, oh yeah, she out there, she for the streets.
She for the streets. Yep.
That's it. She for the streets. Ain't no explaining nothing you want to explain. We are not going on a date no more, or I'm gonna just do what I do with you, and then I'm send you on your way. Either choice, that's what a man would have done.
Yeah.
So I understood.
Hers actually sounded like more of a traumatic experience that she's had prior to that, though. You know,
it probably could have been that.
She didn't even allow you. It wasn't no explaining that because she had that was immediately triggered of some past hurt that she's dealt with. So that probably would have been a no-go anyway, because if you're friends with other women, you know, my husband worked at Chrysler. I gotta have a different level of you know, trust.
I used to work at a plant, so I know.
Sometimes it's a really challenging thing, and I have to always remind my husband, you know, it's a challenging situation because when you've dealt with trauma before, I've mentioned this on my podcast plenty of times, so I'll say it. But when you've dealt with trauma before, where there's been infidelity before, I always have to tell him, you have to be mindful that when you do certain things, it can trigger certain reactions from me. So this is not me trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to be a butthole. I'm not trying to come off on, but this is triggering. Sometimes it's triggering for me when you do certain things, when there's certain situations that you can prevent from happening. So some things gotta just be, you have to use your wisdom and understand that people are triggered on past traumas. It's that simple.
Facts.
Yeah, for me, at first, I felt like I felt like you, D, when I was younger. It didn't matter to me. I'm like, shit. Everybody is doing their thing. Everybody getting some type of experience. I'm just about to enjoy my time. At first, I didn't really care because, unfortunately, I came from two people that spread like peanut butter. So I ended
What?
up
Me? What?
my parents.
What?
So
What did you say? What did you?
I just said I came from two people that spread like peanut butter.
Okay,
So,
got
so um, my thought process
you.
was totally different growing up because I was going off of what I seen, what I knew of my pops, and how he was a Rolling Stone. So I'm like, well, hey, here it is. And then I got to a point in my life where I was like, all right, man, you getting too old. It's time for you to break this generational curse. Grow up, keep your boy in your pants for the right one for a change, and keep it moving. So for me, it kind of ended up turning into a thing where I had to like sit down and really focus on not being on that tip. And once I got that in my mindset, then I was like, okay, now now that I'm in the process of me focusing on me and falling back on messing around with a bunch of women or whatever the case was, boom, here come my wife, and I wasn't even prepared for us to be us, but when that happened, I was like, well, I know for a fact she ain't the one that I could be fooling around like that with. Like, and I knew she was special, but she was my friend first. So that's where that guard was at. So once I got to that point, I was like, you know what? I really need to just chill. And that's when that stuff really started to matter to me. Like, I'd have been pissed had I been going out with her, introducing her to people, and then we run into all these dudes, a plethora of dudes that I don't
Yes.
know, could be related, could not be related, could just be friends. I know me. I wouldn't have said nothing, but I'd have just in my head, I'm like, well, B, look like you got to go back to being for the streets, So, or just falling back and just doing you. So I had to grow up. I had to grow up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all have to do our little level of maturity, man. It's
Yeah,
all a learning curve on everything that we go through. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I
Our
agree.
teenage years, our 20s. I kind of think like our teenage years set up our 20s. Our 20s supposed to set up our 30s, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So
hmm
whatever you learn within those time frames, that's what you got to deal with and take all of that lessons to your next part of your decade or whatever you fall in.
yeah, yeah. And the funny thing is too, when I had that, when that situation happened, I wasn't always wanting to have that conversation either. Like, why do you want to know about my
Yeah.
past? Like,
I'm good on that.
I wasn't always with that because the way I saw it, anybody can hold something back from the next person. You know, everybody not gonna
Sure.
be forthcoming like me or somebody else. So, but what I had to explain to my wife, and this is the only person I had told this to. I had to tell my wife one day the reason why I was so out there and crazy with with myself is because I knew I wasn't the number one pick or the number 2 or 3 pick for women. So once I finally found my gift with women, I went crazy, and it was hard for me to slow down. So that was that. So yeah,
That's
Real
true.
shit.
That's true. That's some
That's
good
real
truth
shit.
though, right there.
yeah, and that was the last time I had to have that conversation with her, or with anybody for that matter. Like, that was it. So,
Yeah.
but
And
I'm
and I think that that's as long as you're truthful with yourself, and come and actually have the realization that it really does matter. Body count really does matter. It matters for you and it matters for your future spouse. Really, it
Mhm.
do.
yeah,
Um, but like I said, I didn't. That wasn't a conversation that me or my husband was like, "Oh, let's go ahead and." No, but
Like,
I'm
can
just.
you imagine?
I'm
Let me ask you a question. Can you imagine this? Let's say the body count topic was never talked about, right? Never talked about. Y'all go through a couple years of relationship, dude propose, y'all married. And right after you marry, all of a sudden,
All the demons come out.
past is coming right out.
That's what happens though.
Yeah.
And you know your husband is looking at you or your wife is looking at you like, damn.
Right.
Yeah,
No, you was doing all that.
Right.
that's what happens.
A perception. But it's too late.
And
Yeah.
on top of that part that happens, now you're dealing with a pervert because just because you stop for a year or 2 years and you still are dealing with a perverse spirit that's gonna take over.
Yeah.
It's gonna take over
Oh,
because it's not just gonna say, oh, I'm gonna back down because he decide he gonna get married. Oh, she decides to get a husband. Oh, okay, you know, I'm gonna turn off the whole light for now. It don't
Yeah.
happen like that.
nah.
Yeah. It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't at all. Man, this was dope, y'all.
Yeah, this is dope as hell.
I'm so glad you finally made it on the show, D.
Yes.
This was dope.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was definitely.
Man.
So
It's different doing it with. It's different with being on the show with guys, you know. And although I knew because I've watched your show you guys show plenty of times, you know, I knew that the dynamics would be great. But it is a different thing because, you know, I've been invited onto men shows several times, but their agenda was so totally different. So it didn't work out, you know. Well,
Right.
I've been on another show. Well, it did work out, but his agenda was off too, you know, because sometimes men don't want to embrace a woman that's, you know, up here and so to speak. They don't want to embrace that, so their agenda is totally different. So I knew, you know, that I needed to get on y'all show because I knew the dynamics of just who y'all are. And y'all are both, I'm so glad that, you know, y'all even started doing this because y'all really gotta, listen, y'all gotta get on it and get to getting these young guys in here so that they can hear what y'all talking about. Because y'all be talking about some real stuff and they really need to hear it. Get some more young girls on, some youthful women on the show so that they can engage, because you have to. I know somebody posted something on y'all page earlier about the young lady that the comment that was made, like, you know, you can do for me, but I ain't gonna do for you type thing. That mindset is all jacked up, and y'all gotta engage.
That's horrible.
It has to be some engagement so that they can see that stuff is just that you're not gonna get no. You ain't gonna have no man. You gonna have the exactly what you're putting out is what you gonna get back.
Exactly.
Facts.
Exactly.
Yep.
I believe in that wholeheartedly.
Y'all keep
So let
going.
me ask
Y'all
you.
keep building, keep going, keep doing everything for
Definitely
real. That God
will.
is telling y'all to do
Honestly,
when it comes to y'all show.
That's what motivated me to do this, is because I wanted to look out for people, the generation behind me. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the young OG that gives out the adequate and good information and the good tools for you to use going in your teens, all the way your 20s, all the way so forward. You know, me, I was misguided as hell. Like, all that player shit, fucking with different types of chicks, that wasn't the right move. That was some bullshit. I should have been focusing on my purpose in my 20s. Focusing on building identifying my purpose and focusing on my purpose and living it out. Then not finding it now in my 30s going on 40. You know what I'm saying? And that was just misguidance from, you know, my OGs, because they were misguided.
Yep.
So we got to make sure that we break the cycle, break the curse. All that bullshit, because you could have money, you could have all the women, but you could still be a clown.
Yeah. But now your misguidance is a tool that you're going to use to, like you said, bring purpose, help people's purpose be brought out of them. So, you know, definitely make sure that y'all stay transparent. I know B is very transparent, and just over the time that I've been watching you, Lawrence, with him, you know, keep that transparency.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
We will.
Keep that transparency.
Definitely will.
Definitely.
Now, let me ask you this. So when do you do your show? And what time do you go on?
Well, our show is Thursdays at 7 via Facebook and YouTube. And it's on, we have a streaming network that we're on under our networking company. It's called the One TV the one.tv. So it streams on there as well. But
Okay.
YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. That's when
My
we
sister
do
circle.
My
Yep.
Sister Circle. We go
Oh
live
shit, I'm definitely
on
checking you out.
It's
I'm
Thursday.
definitely
cause
checking
it's
you
dope,
out.
bro.
Definitely.
It's
You
so
gotta have
dope.
a riding and vibing crew. You gotta have a riding
I
and vibing
do.
boys on
You
there.
know, and that was one of the things B and I talked about. Like, I think like the beginning of last year or like the middle of last year. He was like, bring some guys on. You know, I come on. But then we had to be established as women first. We
Yeah,
had to
definitely.
establish ourselves as women, because even my co-host, they was like, so when you gonna let us have some guys on? But we had to learn how to be established as women first and gather women first, be
Yeah.
a sisterhood, learn sistership, learn the values of what, you know, those things first. So then, you know, we'll let God release us to bringing guys on so that they can put their input in, because again, women need to hear from men.
Yeah, definitely.
And
that's
vice
what I love
versa.
about your
And
show.
vice versa.
That's
And
what I
vice
love
versa.
about your show. That's how I fell in love with your show. I told you this before. I love the sisterhood. I love the uplifting of other women. Like, I feel like men should be doing stuff like that. So keep doing your thing, D, for real. And you know I'm gonna tune in, and if I don't tune in tomorrow, I'm definitely going. You know, I always catch it, repost it, so you already know how I do, man. It's all
I'm
love.
definitely gonna tune in. I'm tuning in every Thursday.
Yeah. And then even if you don't tune in, I do upload to all podcast platforms like the next day. Between Friday and Saturday, I always upload to every podcast platform. So
sweet. Y'all heard it, everybody.
Yep.
There it is. Y'all got the info, so
Thank
no
you.
excuses.
Thank you for joining Riding and Vibing. Everybody, make sure y'all tune in 7 o'clock every Thursday for My Sister Circle. All right?
Yes.
We out of here, y'all.
All right,
Indeed.
y'all.
Thank
It's
you,
your boy L to the Izzo signing off.
Yes, indeed. LFM TV. Peace.
Yes, sir.